Welcome to the 10 things that I believe would make Zambia great. I shared the first thing, and the second thing, which is extremely important, is the need for us to embrace entrepreneurship. As a nation, we need to embrace entrepreneurship if we are to see real development in our nation. It is extremely important, and I strongly believe that entrepreneurs are national assets that should be cultivated and motivated to the largest extent. Because entrepreneurs spur innovation, they bring about national development, and they help curb unemployment. And I strongly believe that if we embraced the need for entrepreneurship, this nation will totally be different from what it is today. It is in our interest to push the agenda of entrepreneurship in our families, in our schools, and in society generally. You see, it actually reminds me, 3 decades ago, a strong fight emerged. And this fight was to improve the positioning of a girl child. So schools pushed for the need for, women to be embraced in workplaces, girls to be embraced in school. Because you must understand that for the longest time, women were sidelined. Actually, centuries ago, women were property owned by men. Of course, not just ordinary property, but, valuable property. But still, they were property. Women were not allowed to own property. Women were just one of the things owned by men. So people, the world believed that we needed to raise the positioning of women. What did they do? They pushed the agenda for women to be embraced. And 3 decades later to today, you look at the grade 9 results in Zambia, you will realize that the top performing were girls. You look at the grade 12 results, the top performing were girls. You look at the positioning in these organizations. You look at the banks as an example. See the number of banks that have women CEOs. The biggest banks, the top of them, Zanaco, is led by a woman. Absa, led by a woman. Citibank, woman. So if you looked at these top banks, it is women who are there. Zambia, you realize that women have risen there. Now, they did not rise to those positions by chance. It was because there was an agenda to push women up. And because of that agenda, women have risen to the fore, and they are doing exceptionally well, and they are worthy of our celebration. So in a similar way, for the longest time, the need to seek for employment and being employed was propagated. Entrepreneurship was sidelined. But now it is in our interest for us to push the agenda of entrepreneurship. You see, if we did this long enough, and if we embraced it as a people, before long, we are going to produce a number of millionaires in Zambia. And we are going to have a billionaire. Zambia has no billionaire. And Zambia has 2 entrepreneurs who are worth more than $100 million. Just 2. And the whole of Zambia has only 30 millionaires who are worth more than $10 million. That's how bad things are. But if we embrace entrepreneurship, there is so much more that we are going to achieve as a nation. It might interest you to note that in 2000, China had 38 millionaires. And in 2020, 20 years later, China had 5.3 million millionaires. That says something. A number of these millionaires became millionaires because of entrepreneurship. It might interest you to note that world over, 74% of the millionaires are entrepreneurs. It is only about 10% of those who become millionaires by virtue of rising through employment or through their career. So it is in our interest for us to embrace entrepreneurship. It is in our interest as a nation to push the agenda of entrepreneurship. You must know, and we need to realize this, that if we had a number of people become entrepreneurs, the issue of unemployment would be a thing of the past. It might interest you to note that it is not the role of the government to curb unemployment. It is the role of the government to create an enabling environment. The people that help curb unemployment are entrepreneurs. One employing 5, one employing 10, 150, 500, 1,000. Those are the ones that curb unemployment. Does the government employ? Yes, it employs for the sole purpose of creating an enabling environment. So when the government employs 30,000 teachers, it is not to curb unemployment. It is to make sure that the citizenry is educated. When the government employs health workers, it is not to curb unemployment. It is to make sure that the citizenry receives good health care so that entrepreneurs can employ health citizens. When the government employs police officers, soldiers, it is to make sure that there is law and order. It is basically to create an enabling environment so that entrepreneurs can flourish. As such, I would encourage us at our homes to begin telling young ones, our children, that entrepreneurship is the way to go. To begin telling our siblings that entrepreneurship is the way to go. To begin telling all those that we worship with, all those within our sphere of influence, that entrepreneurship is the way to go. There are no jobs to embrace all of us. We need to embrace entrepreneurship. It will serve us well. So the second thing that I believe would help make Zambia great is if, as a people, we embraced entrepreneurship. And that's what I'm championing. And that's what I believe in. And I would encourage you to join in too, in your sphere of influence, to push for the need for entrepreneurship. Maybe the world has been waiting for a time such as this, when you and myself will be alive to change the narrative. Let us hold hands and champion the need for entrepreneurship. This is the message from the Radical Entrepreneur, and the future is bright.